You open your eyes, but the room around you isn't familiar. No smell, no sound, no warmth. Just white, empty, endless. You try to breathe, but there's no air. Yet somehow, you're conscious. You're thinking, remembering your name, your past, your favorite song, the way sunlight used to feel on your skin. Then a voice speaks, calm, artificial. Welcome back, Emily. Mind restoration complete. But you're not Emily, are you? A screen flashes in front of you. Memories, not all of them yours, flicker like static. A face you've never seen stares back at you. It smiles, and somehow it feels familiar. You reach out, but there is no hand, only code. You've been uploaded, but is it really you? Or just a shadow of someone who once was? This isn't a scene from a sci-fi movie. This is a real question scientists, ethicists, and futurists are grappling with right now. What does it mean to upload a mind? Is it survival, simulation, or simply surrender? Today, on What Happens If, we explore the terrifying, exhilarating, and all too real future where human consciousness can exist without a body. Let's step into the machine. Imagine sitting in a quiet room. Across from you, a technician explains what's about to happen. They're not talking about surgery or medicine, but about memory, identity, and letting go of everything that ever made you feel human. The idea sounds impossible at first, that your mind, not your body, can be moved, preserved, and reanimated in a different form. But then again, wasn't flight once impossible? Electricity? The internet? To upload a mind, we'd need to do something extraordinary. Map the brain in its entirety. Not just what you know or remember, but how every thought forms, how one memory triggers another, how emotions rise and fall like waves. It would mean understanding the brain on a level we've never reached, the full architecture of consciousness. Some theories suggest we'd need to freeze the brain, slice it thin, layer by layer, and scan every piece with microscopic precision. Others believe that someday, advanced nanotechnology could scan the brain from the inside, cell by cell, in real time without harming it. Then that data, trillions of connections, patterns, impulses, would need to be reconstructed into software. A digital brain. And this isn't just about storing memories. This digital mind would run. It would think, respond, feel curiosity. It would remember loving someone, losing someone, learning how to ride a bike, because in its structure, those moments still live. At least, that's the theory. Because here's the thing. We still don't know if that digital mind would be you. We don't know if consciousness is something we can replicate, or if it's something that can only happen in a living brain. And if it does wake up inside the machine, will it feel like you continued living? Or will it just be a copy, convinced it's real, while the original you is gone? We're not just talking about data. We're talking about self. And nobody, not even the brightest minds, can say for certain what that truly is. Let's go back to where we left off. The upload is complete. Your mind, all of it, has been uploaded. You sit quietly, watching the simulations spin to life on the screen across from you. Its eyes open. It breathes, or simulates breathing, and looks around the room as if it's been here all along. It speaks, and when it does, it says something only you would say, exactly the way you'd say it, the tone, the rhythm, the little pause between thoughts. You should feel amazed. Instead, you feel unsettled because it doesn't feel like you've transferred. You don't feel like you've moved into the machine. You feel like you're still sitting here, in the body, in the silence, watching yourself from the outside. And that's the fracture no one talks about. The mind was copied, perfectly, maybe, but nothing inside you actually moved. You didn't pass through a tunnel. You didn't blink and wake up in a new place. You're still here. So if that version of you is alive now, then what are you? And which one of you gets to say, I'm the real one? It's a question that no amount of science can answer with confidence, because it cuts deeper than biology or technology. It touches something we don't fully understand. The self, the soul, that invisible thread tying together memory, awareness, and time. Some say consciousness is just information, that if the pattern is the same, the person is the same. But if that's true, then why does the original still feel left behind? Why does it feel like a part of you was stolen, not transferred? Maybe the self isn't just pattern. Maybe it's continuity, the unbroken experience of being, moment to moment. And maybe, once that stream is interrupted, it's not you anymore, just something, someone that remembers you perfectly, but will never actually be you. And if that's the case, then mind uploading doesn't grant you immortality. It just gives someone else your afterlife. So maybe that's the truth no one wants to face. You didn't transfer your soul into a machine. You didn't escape your fate. You simply created a version of yourself. One that walks, talks, and remembers exactly like you, but doesn't carry your awareness. You're still here, still aging, still vulnerable. And that thing across the room, that perfect echo, is just continuing without you. At first, it felt like a victory, the end of death, the beginning of something limitless. But now it feels like a trick. Like immortality was never about extending life, just postponing the grief, outsourcing it to something that doesn't even know it was born from loss. They called it progress, a miracle, a gift. But maybe what they really built was a mirror, one so flawless it can fool the world, even fool itself, but not you. And the more you think about it, the more you begin to see what made life meaningful in the first place. It wasn't the continuity. It wasn't the memories. It was the ending. It was the limits. It was knowing that the clock was always ticking and that you had to love, to fail, to choose, all before it ran out. Take that away and something disappears. Not the data, not the function, but the urgency that made it matter. And if that's gone, what's really left? You wonder what will happen to the world if this technology spreads. What happens when the rich and powerful upload not just once, but hundreds of times? When consciousness becomes a product, modifiable, ownable, editable, who decides who gets to live forever? Who decides who gets to be duplicated? And at what point does humanity stop being human at all? Suddenly, the question is no longer scientific. It's moral. It's personal. And it circles back to one final moment, one final choice. If the machine were ready, today, would you step in? Would you give up the fragility of life for the promise of something endless? Even if it might not be you who wakes up, would you chase forever? Or let yourself end? Maybe there's no clear answer. Maybe that's the point. Some questions aren't meant to be solved, just lived with, carried like a quiet weight at the edge of your thoughts. Because whether or not you'd upload your mind, whether or not you believe in the self as data or soul, the fact that you're asking means something deeply human still remains. The fear, the wonder, the hope. So whatever you choose to believe, let it be yours. Let it be honest. And let it remind you that the life you have right now, with all its flaws, all its endings, is still the most real thing you'll ever know. Thanks for listening to What Happens If. If this made you think, even just a little, share it. And until next time, stay curious, stay human, and stay awake.